Hey, Darvin, in the walk-off, LeBron said that it's super important against Golden State to maintain composure. You had mentioned that before the game. You're going to make runs like that. What was the turning point after they made that big push down the stretch?
I just think us being solid, remaining solid, staying organized offensively, and not getting disappointed or discouraged defensively. Came in with a game plan. We knew it was going to be ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys within this 48-minute game. That's just who they are. They put a lot of pressure on you to guard continuously, second by second, minute by minute, quarter by quarter, half by half. So the biggest thing, again, us having a next play mentality and giving multiple efforts. You saw plenty of times guys getting into the paint, guys active, spraying around, taking out quick outlet to three passes away. Our guys being active, AD specifically in the paint, showing his hands, getting deflections, getting blocks, coming up with tough rebounds. And then on the other end of the floor, just trying to be organized, making sure we got a good look every time down, whether it was made or missed, making sure we got good looks.
I believe AD didn't sit in the second half. Just wondered at what point you and your staff kind of decided you could extend him if you needed to, and the importance of trying to get this win in Game 1.
Well, again, I repeat, this is what load management is about. If it's going to be load management, then we have to manage their loads throughout the regular season in order for us to push them a little further during this time of year. Postseason, everything is at its peak. You have to pare down your rotation, and you got to, push your big dogs. Your big dogs got to be there early and often. And so we just made a conscious decision, communicated on the sideline, and we were able to push him on through and allow him to play the full half.
Coach, sorry, Curtis Pashalka, Bay Area News Group. You mentioned AD, obviously a huge night for him, but those two plays right at the end where he kind of affected the shots of both Poole and Curry, how huge were those plays?
He's elite defensively. His ability to change shots, block shots, and then still gather the rebounds, that's rare. That's rare company for guys that's able to do that. So, and I told him before the game, dominate on both sides of the ball, and he's been doing that. And we expect nothing less from him, and we expect it to continue.
Darvin, here are the other names of the players in Laker history who've had 30-20 games. Will Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Can you just contextualize that top-to-bottom performance you got from AD tonight?
You're talking about top 75 players, some of the best players that our league or basketball in general has ever saw in its history. And so, again, that's what we expect of him. We know that's what he's capable of. It's great. We needed every bit of all those points and rebounds and block shots and assists as well. So the biggest thing for us is, again, not to get happy, stay humble, respect our opponent, but also know that there's a ton of work left to be done. And it's not the first to one. It's not the first with the greatest performance individually. We just got to keep stacking days, keep coming out, putting our best foot forward.
Darvin, what was the message at halftime? I believe they were shooting almost 44% from the three-point line. You had only attempted 8 and made 1, but you were winning the game.
Just playing with force. Obviously doing what we could in transition. Again, they're a tough ball club, and anytime you got Poole, Thompson, and Curry seeing shots go in, it's a nightmare. And so just not getting discouraged, not getting disappointed, but all the while remaining forceful on our offensive end, playing downhill, loving and living in the paint, putting a lot of pressure on them to guard in the paint. I think that the free throw line definitely helped us, and our ability, again, to not just hold the ball, set good hard screens, come off, swing the ball, drive downhill, secondary and third side drives. It went well for us in that department, and so we just got to figure out a way, try to do what we can to guard them better and not allow them to get loose so early and often from the three-point line, but yet maintain our physicality and our force on offense.
Darvin, when you have Dennis scoring as well as playing defense, running behind Poole and behind Steph, how beneficial is that to you guys?
It's huge, especially him showing up our second unit, him coming off. I tell him all the time, be aggressive, assertive, and make quick decisions. Don't think twice. And all of our guys, they encourage, Dennis, Austin, D'Lo, they all get encouraged by our two captains, Bron and AD, to come out and be aggressive and be assertive, within the context of playing the right way. But Dennis was huge, man. He's definitely a two-way player. You know, he's going to come out and give it his all on both sides of the ball, be physical, be scrappy, give multiple efforts, and then be able to play downhill, push the pace, and be able to get stuff done from the free throw line.
Darvin, I kind of had the same question. I mean, to have someone like Dennis in your team who's making those 2 free throws in the last seconds, like being so ice cold, I mean, this is so important. So what is your thoughts about that?
He's a big-time finisher. I've known the kid since he first came into the league. You know, that's my guy. That's why we wanted him on our team. We know how he plays, especially in big moments. He plays the biggest. You know, he's not afraid of the moment. And he asks for the ball to be in his hands, and our guys trust him having the ball in his hands late in the game. So we know if he's fouled or whatever the play needs to be made, if it's an open corner three, if it's going downhill, attacking the rim, if it's having to get fouled and having to step up to the line and hit free throws, he's going to do all of that, as well as guard the other team's best perimeter players. So that's exactly why he's on our ball club.
Hey, Darvin, I know when you took the job, I'm sure you knew AD was a pretty good defensive player, great defensive player, but he's even better than you thought now that you got to coach him every day. He was out there contesting shooters from up high on screen rolls, doing a bunch of different things just to upset the offense. Did you see all of that when you first took the job?
I mean, I knew, watching him during his days in New Orleans and watching him in the bubble, he's an elite defender. He's one of the few guys that can defend laterally and vertically. By that I mean he can get down in the stands and move his feet and keep a guard in front of him and force a tough contested shot, or he can meet you at the basket and change your shot or get a block, and also do all of that and still corral a rebound, a defensive rebound. So, A is just being A, and then you come to our film sessions, our walkthroughs, what have you. He's one of the most vocal, communicating, trying to get on the same page, giving suggestions, giving his thoughts on how we can be more cohesive and on a string defensively.
Yeah, Darvin, these last 2 games, is this as well as you've seen AD play ever?
I mean, he had some monster performances that year. He was with New Orleans, but all of that's in the past. I think he's doing exactly what I anticipated him to do. He's playing like the top 5 NBA player that he is.
Darvin, what would you make of LeBron's offensive performance, and then also him kind of contributing in other ways, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks, and just kind of his offensive rhythm right now?
He's just playing a total game, man. He's not forcing anything, and that's who he's been his entire career. We knew what we did off the ball, defensively particularly, would be extremely important, and he was all on board for that and understood why we had to do it, and he did his part, and defensive rebound is a huge thing. And so some of the blocks he had, some of the hard, tough rebounds he had, it allows us a lot of flexibility defensively. And then offensively, he's just playing the right way. There's times where he's going to dictate the pick and roll or dictate the offense. There's times he's going to be off the ball. And we got guys around him that can carry the load, from D'Lo to Austin to Dennis, Rui, obviously AD. So it gives him a chance to not have to make every play. And so now down the stretch, when we really need him to step up and dominate the ball particularly, he's able to do that with a lot of gas left in his tank.
Darvin, when Jordan Poole took this shot with like 9 seconds left to try to tie it, it appeared you made a motion. I don't know if do you remember what motion you were making, and did you recognize in the moment or afterwards how close you were to Poole at that moment?
No, I'm not one of those coaches that tries to contest shots from the sideline. So I probably was telling my players to, contest, hurry up, get out on them, press up. But I've seen a lot. I won't name any names, but I've seen a lot of coaches in those situations that cross the line. But that's not me, man. I'm not. I allow the 10 players that's on the floor and the 3 officials to navigate what's going on in between the lines, not me. If it's anything, I was waving my players to get up and not give up an open 3-point shot. Thank you.
Yeah, you definitely said before pregame that this was an advantage maybe because you had rhythm, but was it this quick turnaround? Do you think that took a toll on your guys there at the end?
No, I thought we were the fresher team down the stretch. You saw the run we made. They decided to play their guys the whole fourth quarter, and I understood that decision. They've had more rest, so they're thinking, push the envelope and played their starters in the fourth, and I thought, in the last 4 minutes, we were the team with more energy. Just couldn't quite get over the hump, but our guys made an incredible comeback to tie it, and, they made a couple plays at the end.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just seemed like AD down in the paint was kind of a deterrent. Obviously, he's a rim protector, but he, especially down the stretch, seemed to have discouraged a few of some of the players down there, especially altering their shots a little bit, and of course they weren't knocking those down. What's the remedy to figure out AD just camping out in the paint?
Well, I think you always have to feel, the game. The first game of the series is a feel-out game. You can go through tape and you can talk about strategy, but you have to feel the game and the personnel. And I thought AD had a great game. I mean, he obviously dominated and blocked 4 shots and altered some others. But that's what this team has been doing now for the last few months. They've been one of the best defensive teams in the league for a reason, and he's a huge part of that. So he had a great game, and we'll watch the tape and we'll see where we can find better ways to attack.
Steve, the free throw discrepancy is quite large. I mean, how do you guys go about remedying that and also just trying to get to the line a little bit?
Yeah, I thought we committed some fouls that we didn't need to, especially in the first half. We had, I think, 3 where, on a jump shot, I think we hit Davis on a fadeaway 17-footer. I think we fouled a couple times when they were in the bonus when we didn't need to. They're going to shoot more free throws than we are. I mean, I think they were number 1 in the league, and we were last or next to last. So not a surprise, but that is a huge disparity, and we need to bring that down.
You referenced the run you made late. It was after you went small. What triggered that decision to finally, go to that small lineup, and what did you like from it?
Well, we needed to score. We were down 10. I mean, a lot of times we make the decision, the lineup decision based on time and score, and time and score dictated, that we needed the spacing, and so we went with that smaller lineup, and they made a great push, and we got some big plays from a lot of guys. Wiggs is rebounding down the stretch, and obviously the shootings. I mean, Steph hit a couple of incredible threes, and Jordan and Klay some big ones. So we were right there. We gave it a great fight, and just couldn't get over the hump. But we'll be ready for game 2.
Were you okay with that 28-footer that Jordan took? With Steph obviously getting double teamed, was that an okay shot? And what did you think of Jordan's game overall tonight?
Yeah, I thought Jordan did a really good job. I had the timeouts left, but I saw them double teaming Steph at half court, so I knew somebody was going to be wide open if we could just get the ball out. And Steph did a great job. He got the ball out of the trap, and Jordan was wide open, and pretty good look, and that's a shot he can hit. So really, happy with that possession, and again, that's Jordan had hit 6 threes already, so it's a great shot for us.
Hey, Steve, exactly half of your team's shots tonight were 3-point attempts, and threes are a big part of your identity. But even if you wanted to change that approach, is it tougher because of their interior defense?
Because of?
Their interior defense.
Yeah, I mean, with Davis in the paint, you're not going to get, anything easy at the rim. So you still have to try to attack. You can't just play around the 3-point line the whole game. But a big part of our offense is, drive and kick, get the ball into the paint, move it out, and our guys did a pretty good job of that. They were trying to take away our threes the whole game, the top blocking and really putting pressure on our perimeter guys, and I thought our guys did a really good job of finding openings and getting each other some good shots.
Steve, defensively, these guys are so much different from Sacramento. The 54 paint points tonight, do you feel like you could have leaned more even into daring them to beat you from the outside?
Well, I think when you start the series, you really have to go through a game to really feel it, and then watch the tape and figure out what possible adjustments. Davis, it felt like Davis made a lot of mid-range shots. I'm not sure how many, but, those are shots that we have to be willing to give up, because if we can keep them from the rim, and they're taking some challenged 2-point shots, I think those are shots you got to live with. But again, I feel like we have to really look at the tape and see where we can get better and how we might be able to counter some of the things they did.
You gave Steph a little extra longer rest, at least from the way you've been doing it in the third quarter. Was that just you weren't going to play him 40, 42, 43 just to start this series?
Yeah. And I think we were hanging in there. I think he needed a little bit of rest at that time, and then I felt like I was probably going to play him the whole fourth, and so it just felt like the right decision at the time.
You played JaMychal Green, extended the rotation a little. What did you like from him? What did you want to get from him, and what did he give you?
We're playing a big, strong team, and JaMychal gives us, some size on the front line, some rebounding, and he can hit the three. He knocked down a couple threes for us, which is one way to loosen up their defense a little bit. So I liked JaMychal's minutes. He did a nice job out there, and I felt like coming in, we needed another big in this series. That we weren't just going to play Draymond and Loon solely. I thought we needed another guy, and J-Mike filled that role well.
D'Angelo. Yo, right over here. Other over here. This is a second straight series you guys have won the first game. What's allowing you guys to do that and on the road?
Just locking into the game plan. Obviously, getting off to a good start matters in the playoffs. Even in the regular season, when you get off to a good start, you give yourself a chance to hold it down throughout the game. Honestly, we just locked into the game plan, and everybody was committed to it. Everybody from the bench to the starting unit, there was no let up. We were locked in for 48 minutes and allowed us to get the win.
D'Lo, with the noise in this arena, how difficult was it to communicate on the high picks at the three-point line to make sure that you guys were not surrendering uncontested three-point shots to Steph and Klay and Poole?
It's not really that loud. For our group, it's all about the game plan. We know we got to be up. It's things that we know. So as far as yelling and screaming and losing your voice trying to do it, it's kind of irrelevant. We know we got to do, so nobody needs to be told it, honestly.
Yeah, D'Lo, how impressed have you been with AD?
Big, huge performance. He's been dominating the playoffs. Gets a lot of hate from the media throughout the year, and I wasn't a part of it, but I don't know what you could say about the guy. He was on the court for almost the whole game. Last series, he dominated when he was out there. Never asked for a sub, never asked for a break. If he can play, he'll dominate the game. If he can't play, he can't play.
D'Angelo, just wondering your familiarity with Golden State and kind of how they defend the spots that you're looking to get your shots in, and how different that is from the Memphis series and this series, and what you see as kind of the keys to that part of the game.
They're a good team defensive unit. They do a good job of selling out to their rotations, activating their scramble. They might run a guy off, and the next guy's there ready in rotation. They've been doing it for a while now, so I don't know. You just got to trust the pass against those guys. They make you go to your second and third option throughout the game, and you trust the pass. It could be a good night for anybody. If you go against it, it's kind of tough.
D'Angelo, there's been a couple of games where you've had these spurts in scoring. Tonight was third quarter. What did you score? The first 8 in the third. You guys kind of needed that. What kind of gets you going, and what are you seeing in that moment?
I don't know. Just it's an opportunity to be ready. They're a good third quarter team. We all knew that. So for us to get off to a good third quarter start, everybody was kind of coming out ready to be aggressive. And the game just allowed me to be the one to kind of take advantage of it at the time. But they're a good third quarter team. We know that, and we just want to handle that, be locked in as a group.
Dennis, when they cut it from a 14-point deficit all the way.
You said me Dez?
No, I said Dennis said D'Lo. My bad. Sorry, I literally just talked to Dennis. That's my bad.
Oh, good.
When the Warriors cut it from 14 down to 0, obviously you guys were able to prevail and get the win. But what do you think you guys learned as a group from that sequence and apply it to the rest of the series?
We were just locked in for 48 minutes from the start to the finish. That team's dangerous. You know, they shoot a lot of threes. A lot of threes can get you back in the game when you're down by a few possessions. So knowing that they can, you know, explode at any time and get themselves back, you know, within one point or one possession game, whatever it may be, knowing that every possession matters. So Vando, Reeves, Dennis, all those guys were huge. Troy Brown, all those guys were huge. Things you don't see on the stat sheet. But when you watch the game, they impacted winning to the fullest.
D'Angelo, Golden State's coming off a 7-game series. You just played a very physical Memphis team. Did you sense any advantage tonight as far as perhaps stamina is concerned? I know they made that run in the final 6 minutes, but did you sense anything from the other side as far as, you know, maybe an advantage you have when it comes to getting up and down?
I mean, if you rebound the ball, I think both teams are dangerous. You know, we get out in transition and we get dunks and threes. They get out in transition, they get a lot of threes. So if we can limit that, I think that's our advantage, not really the previous series and things like that. Obviously, you know, series can prepare you for the next one as far as physicality and things like that. But as far as the resting and the time off and all that extra, I don't think that really matters. I just think we locked in for 48 minutes. Whatever we got to do with whoever's out there, everybody's ready to impact winning. Yep, thank you.
You know, game one's obviously styles change so much from team to team. Just, I mean, I know you know the length that the Lakers possess. Just how different is it going from who you just played to what they have inside?
Yeah, it's a totally different team. You know, they present some different challenges than we faced the first round. You just got to make the adjustment, come back in game 2 better.
Did you think the quick turnaround had any effect on you guys at the beginning, end of this game?
Nah. Thought we was pretty good. We got out in transition early. We fouled too much, and that slowed us down quite a bit. So we got to be better defensively, and that start with me.
How do you handle, or not just you specifically, but the team handle a player like Anthony Davis with that amount of length? And
I think when you're guarding a player like AD, you know, it's never going to be one guy that just shuts him down. It's a team effort. But, you know, as far as the matchup goes, you know, you got to take that head on. And, you know, I don't think we did a great job of that tonight. Like I said, that starts with me.
You mentioned the foul discrepancy, and obviously they got to the line nearly like 5 times more than you guys. I mean, how do you combat that going forward? Is it as simple as just the message being don't foul?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was some cheap ones that we kind of gave away, some in transition we took, you know, some away from the ball when they were in the penalty, you know, that we can take away, and, you know, we'll be better with that.
You mentioned how obviously a very different team you're playing now than you played in the last round. But in terms of the bigs, how different is that? I mean, that's a dramatic change going from Thomas to AD. I mean, what is AD? What are the challenges he brings specifically?
He's a great player, very athletic, great rim protector, and you know his shot was going tonight. You know he felt like he made every one of those mid ranges he took, and you know you got to live with some of those, but I think you know we can do a better job individually and collectively to take some of those away.
Obviously, Jordan didn't have a great last series, but what did you think about him in this game and the shots he was taking and the willingness to take them?
I thought he was really good. I thought early on he passed up a couple, and you know we needed him to take those, and then he started taking them, and he was great. And you know I think this will be a series that'll go his way, and you know that's great for us because we'll need him.
You talk about things have to change with you, and typically you're the floor general. So what do you change for the next game?
My aggressiveness on both ends of the floor. I think you know I allowed the 3 fouls to kind of take me out of a rhythm, and never really found it again, so just got to stay out of foul trouble. It's kind of been a thing with me lately, and just got to stop fouling and defend better.
It's a feel-out game, obviously. Game one, of course, you want to win it, but guys make adjustments from here. In that fourth quarter, you guys went on a run. Steve kind of went small. Do you think that's something that you guys can use to your advantage?
I mean, I think that's always been an advantage for us, but we're not just taking Kevon Looney out of the lineup. He's been incredible, so that's not on him. If anything, it was on me. So, yeah, I mean, that's something that we always have, and I'm sure we'll see some of that, but, there's a lot of other things that we can do better, and, we'll watch the tape, figure them out, and we'll be better.
You mentioned you feel like this is a series that tilts Jordan's way. Is that just because an obvious need for more spacing out there against them?
Yeah, spacing, but I also think the way they guard, he's going to get some good looks, and it's on me and Loon and Jermichael, guys to get him free and allow him to get some daylight and get to some of the shots that he want to get to. But, like I said, I think this will be a much better series for him and one that'll turn his way, and, hopefully that'll turn it our way.
Draymond, just following up on Monty's question there. You're in the back, sorry. Following up on Monty's question there, do you feel like you can employ a similar strategy in guarding AD that you did with Domas, or is that?
Hell no.
No.
Totally different player. No way. Like I said, we have to be better at the point of attack with him. Shore up our ball screen offense. He got a lot out of ball screens and drop-offs. Ball screen defense, I'm sorry. He got a lot out of ball screens and drop-offs, and, you go from guarding pick and roll totally different last series, quick turnaround, and you got to readjust to that, and so we'll make the adjustments and we'll figure it out. But like I said, it starts with our aggression. When you allow him to get a couple easy ones to start, then he's feeling good, and he's a hell of a player, as we all know. So starts with our aggression initially, and and then you go from there.
Yeah, Draymond, I asked this of Steve before the game. Your last 4 games now, the road team has won. A lot of road teams are winning the playoffs. Is home court advantage in the playoffs maybe overrated?
I think everybody want to be at home. I don't think it's necessarily overrated. At some point, some road teams are going to get some games, and we'll have to make sure we do that and return that favor. But no, if you can get home court, you always want it. Home court, just to be in front of your crowd, in hopes that everyone plays better at home. So you establish more of your routine, your daily routine, which makes a difference. So I think we all want home court, and we'll have to, number one, protect home court next game, but also come this weekend, go down there and get one back.
I think you got 23 rebounds. AD got 23 rebounds. What was that tussle like? What was that like going up against him?
It was fun. He's a great player. He got it going a little early in the first quarter. He's tough to keep up the glass. He did his job. It's fun. He's gotta make some adjustments. Kind of slow him down a little bit, but overall, I feel it's competitive.
A lot is being made just of how quick the turnaround is and how different, the Kings are and the Lakers are. For you specifically, how has that quick turnaround been from adjusting from a guy like Sabonis to an Anthony Davis?
It's definitely a adjustment. Totally different styles of playing. Different, Kings' offense was a lot different. Real similar to ours. Lakers play a little different, and so definitely from the quick turnaround, we didn't get a lot of time to prepare like we did last series. So we got to learn on the fly. But we used to doing that. I feel like we're going to make adjustments and figure it out.
When you guys are in your too big look, which obviously you still want to play a ton, like what is the key to, I guess, beating the way that they're defending you?
Just continue to stay spaced and don't get bogged up and play with some organization. I think we did a great job in the first quarter, getting great looks. So me and Draymond have seen this type of defense a lot throughout since I've been playing with him. So it's not nothing we're not used to. We just gotta get used to it. I think we're gonna make some adjustments and figure it out how to, when we do get bogged up and slow down, we know how to make the right play calls and different things like that.
Kevon, obviously you guys make that 14-0 run to come back in the fourth and tie it, but what was the biggest stretch in this game, in your estimation, that kind of turned it?
I think we just was able to get stops. It was for a stretch we weren't able to get stops, and when we did get stops, we weren't able to get the rebound. So that last group, we did a great job of getting stops and playing in transition. We didn't have to play against the set defense. We stopped fouling in the fourth as much as we did earlier in the half. So I think that was probably the biggest key, getting stops and not fouling. And when they were able to play free flowing and play in transition, we were really tough to stop. And I think in the third quarter we was getting fouls. They was slowing us down and kind of able to get set on defense.
Kevon, when you look at that free throw disparity tonight, did that have more to do with the different styles of play between the two teams, or more so things that you guys could have controlled on your end?
That's a little bit of both, but I think it's things we can control. We had a lot of silly fouls. I know I had like two. Renee was in the bonus. I just reached on over it back and sent AD to the free throw line. A couple where we just fouled shorter for no reason. Different things like that. We got to kind of limit. We knew coming into the game that they're going to use their gamesmanship. They get to the free throw line a lot, and that was one of our game plan things we had to focus on. We didn't do a good job in the first half.
AD, everyone knew coming into this series, when you look at the Warriors lineup, that you could be a featured part of the Lakers' attack. What do you think allowed you to be so effective tonight?
The guys get me the ball, and the guys just getting the ball to me in the right spots. A lot of it came off pick and roll, a couple post-ups, some offensive rebounds, but just being aggressive when I do catch, looking to score or looking to play make to other guys. But it was the guards, finding me early, which allowed them, to play free later on in the game.
LeBron, this team has been through challenges throughout the course of the season, continuity, ups and downs, all sorts of different stuff. What did you think of the mental resolve to withstand a 14-0 run in this building late and to close those guys out with poise?
That's been us since we made the acquisitions to our new guys. We've been able to be very resilient in games. Like I said, we've been playing playoff basketball for about 2.5 months now, just trying to punch our clock in to be able to play right now in the postseason. So, we've been very resilient. And tonight versus a team like Golden State, the defending champions, and we know how great they are on their home floor over the years. So to withstand that, and it's another good step for our ball club.
Anthony, just kind of thinking about game two and adjustments that Golden State might make. They had Looney on you for most of the game. Draymond kind of took over late. What are the ways that you think that changes once they go maybe a little smaller, or Draymond plays a more five, and what do you expect from them in their building in game two?
Well, it's going to be a different game. Obviously, they're going to make adjustments. We're going to make adjustments. The building will be probably a little bit louder. We obviously don't want to go down 0-2. So the crowd's going to be more into it, but we're going to continue to, I'm going to continue to be aggressive. I know our guys are going to continue to be aggressive. Obviously, we know that Draymond, likes to help. So we probably, if they do decide to put him on me, figure out ways I can be effective, with him doing this thing defensively. But who knows? We'll see what happens game two. If they make that adjustment, if they don't, and still trying to find ways to attack.
What did you guys make of the defensive game plan tonight, and just your ability to wall off the paint? And obviously they take 53 threes, but felt like you guys kind of were controlling them defensively.
We got to do a better job. I think even though late, they made a run, and I think throughout the second half, just only giving up 48 points, that's really good. But we had a couple lulls where we allowed those guys. Steph, Klay, and Jordan to get some looks that, if we're really tuned in, it won't happen because they're going to get their looks anyways. So we can't have, our own personal problem mistakes. So we got to be better. We got to be better. We love the game plan, but we got to be better as the guys on the floor.
Yeah, AD, as much as you've dominated in the postseason, do you feel like you're proving people wrong, or does that matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me. I don't care what no one thinks. Only, the guys in the locker room, coaching staff, it's only opinions that I care about. Other than that, I just go out and play basketball, try to do what I can do to help the team win. Opinions outside the locker room, what guys say, guys think, is irrelevant to me.
Coach Ham said that both of you guys have kind of been a rock for him and kept him afloat mentally in a lot of ways. What kind of advice have you had for Coach, and what do you think about how he's grown this rookie season for him as a head coach?
For us, we've been a part of this franchise, the longest that's on this franchise right now. And we've had our battles together. So, for us to be able to, have that relationship with the coaching staff and have that relationship with Coach Ham, and him to be able to trust us on the floor, that we can be an extension of him, to relay his commands, relay his messages. I just think it just makes it a lot calming for him, that he knows that he has guys on the floor that has been in a fight, has been in a foxhole, and has had experience, in tough games, So, every game and every day is another learning experience for our coaching staff and for us. And, we just try to, make it as seamless as possible when we step on the floor with the game plan that they're giving us.
LeBron, I'm sure you guys knew they were probably going to make some shots and make a run towards the end. When you guys were not able to score and they did catch you, was that a lack of execution on your part, or did you guys just simply miss some shots?
No, it was never a lack of execution with us. At the end of the day, we only had 8 turnovers, so that let us know we was not sloppy with the ball. We were executing at a high level. We just missed some shots. I can think about 4 or 5 shots. AR had a shot from the left wing, missed it. I had a fadeaway, jumper in the paint, missed it. I was able to hit AD on the cut. One of his patent jump hooks, he missed it, got the offensive rebound, missed it again, and then they lost it around their sideline, gave us another extra possession. D'Lo had a wide open 3 opposite of their bench. Sometimes just a make or miss league. We executed to perfection, we just didn't make.
LeBron, I know both of you guys aren't too statistically inclined at this time of the year. It's just about getting the W. But you had the 2020 last round. AD is 30-20 tonight, and he joins Shaq, Elgin, Kareem, and Wilt, in franchise players who have done that, wearing the purple and gold. What is that? How does that encapsulate, like him joining a list like that? What he's doing for your guys' team right now?
The Lakers franchise over the years, over the course of their existence, has always had dominant big men and dominant guys that have been a force at the rim, and that's why their jerseys are in the rafters. And AD will be up there when he's done playing, and the number 3 will be up in the rafters, and he continues to show why he's one of the best players that we have in this league, and and for us, it's just a treat for us to be able to have such a dynamic player that can, not only go out and get you 30 and 20, but also command the paint defensively, can switch out the guards, and also give you 5 assists as well.
Let's get it going here. Mark Davis.
For the Laker Nation and treat for the franchise to be able to have, another one, in their franchise that wears the purple and gold. That's in the present right now.
Hey, LeBron. Oh, here.
I'll take my watch next week. Or a car.
You have had a lot of great historical games against Warriors in the old Oracle Stadium. How do you feel to win your first playoff game in the new Chase Center, as a Laker?
Well, it's always great to win in the postseason. no matter where you are, no matter who you're playing, because it's very difficult to win in the postseason. So, like I said, like you said, I got a lot of history in Oracle, and a lot of battles in that, in that arena over the years. So, it's definitely a different feeling walking in here into a postseason game, being in the Chase Arena now, like you said. But that Warriors and that GS and that those colors that hasn't changed, and so my focus and my respect for them hasn't changed as well. And it's just an honor to be able to play this game at a high level, play with other great players, and then also look on the other side and see other great players. And you be a part of something that's historic, something that will last a lot longer than we are today. So it's pretty cool. Thank you.
Klay, what kind of mental and emotional adjustment was it to go from that Kings series, really different opponent, pretty quickly to turn around and play the Lakers?
Yeah.
What was that like to go through?
It was a quick turnaround, but can't dwell on it because we got a really good team over there, and they do things differently than the Kings, but present some big challenges, and saw that tonight. So the morale is not low. We know we let one slip away, but we got an opportunity to watch the film tomorrow and see how we can attack them better.
Klay, Steve was saying before the game that obviously the interior defense of L.A. is much different from that of the Kings. How much of that is Anthony Davis, and how much of that is just the guys that surround him in the paint area?
I mean, a lot of it's Anthony Davis. I think he was averaging 4 blocks a game during these playoffs, so it's our job to hunt great shots, and I thought we got some really good looks tonight, especially for myself. Didn't go in the way I wanted them to, especially in that second half, but like I said before, it's one game, and we got another opportunity to even it out on Thursday.
Klay, what do you do to control the foul trouble that you guys had for game 2?
Just continue to just make a mental note and be mindful that this team thrives at going to the free throw line, and I think they would rather play a slower pace than getting up and down with us. So we have to be more mindful come game 2 about playing with our hands back and living with the shots they take rather than trying to be aggressive and swipe it, everything.
What did you think about Jordan in this game, Klay, after last series?
Oh, he played great. I mean, he kept us in it. He gave us a huge spark off the bench. Played fantastic. And, I know he's always going to bounce back, and he played just wonderful.
What do you think got you were down 12, whatever it was, and then come back to tie it? What you went small? What do you think was the direction that you were able to get? Let me phrase that correctly. How were you able to do that?
Just being gritty on defense. Steph made some incredible shots. So did Jordan. But that was a incredible effort on our part. We still have another level to reach. For myself individually, I know I do, so there's no time to dwell on the unfortunate events tonight because we play every other day at this point.
Your 2 big lineup with Looney and Draymond, I mean, obviously the numbers over the course of the season and really history remain good, but I know, especially against this team, they really sag off both. What is the key to when they are both on the floor, still, having the spacing that gets you guys the points you need?
I mean, I love the looks I got in the first half. I think even the second half, maybe rushed a few shots, but for us, when we're big out there, it's just about being a little more patient and using those guys as screeners, and they're great at diving and playing out the pick and roll for the screens, not in the ball screen action. So for us, I mean, it's hard for me even to expand on that because I got to watch the film. When we watch the film tomorrow, we'll have a much better game plan come Thursday.
Obviously, during the playoffs, every player takes their game up another notch, but Kevon Looney and what he's been doing the playoffs so far and having 23 rebounds tonight. I mean, what do you think about the way that he was just aggressive?
Kevon has been an anchor for us, and he's just such a steady presence. I mean, we would not be in the position we are right now without him, so I'm grateful for Loon's effort and his commitment to the game. He is a warrior, true definition of a warrior, just for his style of play and his tenacity, especially on the boards.
You've had some pretty good success with driving and kicking the last few games. And tonight I'm thinking of one play in particular where you drove and you had the behind-the-back pass, I think it was to GP, I think. Can you attack AD or anybody in the paint when you have sort of like someone, it's an outlet for you there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I probably could make more plays come game 2, but this was a completely different look than the Kings, so we got to definitely trust our ball movement a little more. I think, 30 assists is good, but we can do even better. And I just know we'll be better Thursday. Like, we always respond when we have a tough night out. That it? Nice.
We always call game ones kind of a feeling out situation. Is that too easy to write this off as that, or did you feel like some things you were trying, you saw some things that they're going to carry through this series?
I feel like there's obviously a drastic difference between our last series and style of play with how the Lakers come at you on both ends of the floor. Their personnel, obviously AD had a big game, but for the most part, there's that little run in the third quarter where they got some momentum and took it to a 14-point lead at one point. But we obviously clawed our way back, tied it with minutes and change left, gave ourselves an opportunity. We know we need to clean up some stuff, a little too many turnovers on my part. Understanding AD's presence in the paint, he's, he has length, and the way that they're trying to funnel us into, the lane, got to be able to see the floor a little bit better. But, long series, they say it's first to 4, and I think we found some life down the stretch that hopefully we can capitalize off of in game 2.
There's always kind of this big against small debate for you guys internally that'll, I'm sure, pop up in this matchup, particularly because, the run you mentioned late was when you went small. Just how do you view those two different options in this series, staying too big or going small? And then even when you are too big, how do you score more efficiently?
You just got to, that's obviously coach making calls and decisions on how the game is going and flowing. If we can rebound, going small is to our advantage. There's probably 3-4 possessions where you can see we got to stop, we got to rebound, we got to push. Somebody was open, and that's kind of how we like to play. If it's traditional and the way that they're playing us, we just got to be a little bit more organized in terms of our overall spacing. And like I said, respect how they're trying to guard us and where they're trying to push us on the floor. Excuse me. And just make the right reads. I got my shot blocked, I think, 3 or 4 times trying to get little floaters off because you get one step too deep. And that's just an adjustment that you got to make. And, we'll be a lot better, a lot more organized on that front in game 2.
Steph, this is the 23rd time you and LeBron have faced each other in the postseason, or LeBron has faced, you're the core of your team. He just said it feels historic. I'm just wondering, how was it for you to play him? Obviously, this is the first time you played him at Chase, different team, but just how was the experience of seeing him again in the postseason?
You have to reflect on like everything that we've all gone through since the 15 finals, and just appreciate the opportunity to have another chapter in in that battle, in that competition. Obviously, once the ball, drops, it's a different feel, just based on how the Lakers play versus the old Cavs teams, and even just the different style that he's playing a little bit. He's, trying to come at you a little differently, space you out a little bit. He's shooting a lot more threes and stuff like that. It's just a little different vibe, but there is a reflection of just how awesome and special this battle is. And the fact that we get to do it again. We want to come out on top, and it's going to be a fun series all the way around. But there is a moment of reflection for sure. Just how cool this is, all these years later.
Quick follow-up to that one before I ask you another one. But what was going on when he was walking with you to the sideline when you were coming out of the game? Was that just a conversation, or was he trying to sneak onto your bench or something? He walked all the way down the court with you.
Nah, he was just joking around about having to guard me all the way till I got to the bench.
And also, what did you think about Jordan taking that shot? You were getting doubled. It was early. You did have a timeout. You fine with that shot?
For sure. I know he made 6 of them tonight. And we talked about a little bit about certain adjustments we need to make throughout the course of the game to keep creating good looks. But it was decisive. It was, a shot he was open and flow. And considering how they guard us on that possession, trapping me at the half court, Draymond swinging it over to him. It's kind of in rhythm shot. But I'm sure he felt pretty good about it. That's why he shot it. There's no kind of, regrets on that. It's just, make or miss type situation. A lot of trust in him and his ability to put the ball in the basket.
Steph, so Lakers tethering a lot. They got 25 free throws. So how would you guys to make an adjustment to control the foul trouble?
AD is going to put pressure on you all game, so you like to not let him get 8 off, but that might not kill you. It's more the other guys, especially the ball handlers. Schroeder gets 10 free throws, like that can't happen. Whether we think it's a foul or not, we can't put ourselves in that situation. That's how he makes an impact, because he is super, quick and his first step, and we have a certain strategy around him, but you can't let him get to the line, 10 times. That's a killer. So we'll make those adjustments. Understand again, quick turnaround from Game 7 and against Sac, and locking in on what the Lakers do well, and confidence is how we can bounce back.
Steph, you mentioned AD's length in your first answer. Is that hard to gauge until you play him once or twice in this setting? He was jumping out on the pick and rolls. He was contesting a lot of things even outside of the paint. Does it take you a game or two with someone like him because he's long and quick?
For sure. And it's also because of how they're playing us. They know they want to take away our threes, even though we got 50 of them up. Like they want to try to put pressure on the perimeter, funnel everything into the paint, and allow him to disrupt a lot. And close the space pretty quick. It's kind of deceiving. You feel like you have a good look to get it over the top and gets a fingertip on it. So you got to respect it. Like that's how he makes an impact on that end of the floor. And can't be stubborn thinking you can just keep going in there. You still got to be able to drive, put pressure on the rim, but you can do it in a creative way. So yes, you got to feel it because it's impactful.
With AD in the middle like he is, and being a deterrent, really also blocking some shots, obviously, does that offer maybe with spacing a few more drive and kick opportunities? In other words, attack and then sort of get him and then.
Yeah, you just depending on who's out there, and there's probably whether it's Draymond and Loon or Jermichael out there, he got some clean looks. You have to trust that somebody's going to be open and whoever it is, have confidence to knock down a shot or get to the next action. But can't have two guys on top of each other where one guy can guard two, and your spacing gets kind of killed and the ball stops. That's what they want, and I think a little bit in the third quarter, that's what kind of happened to us, and we figured it out a little bit in the fourth and kept putting pressure on us. How we got back in the game, but we got to do that from the jump in game two to give ourselves much more flow on offense.
Hey, Steph, I talked to George Kittle after the game, asked him about that Looney jersey he had on. He says, yeah, Looney is a bona fide tight end. So my real question to you is, what are we going to need from you, Looney, the rest of the way, and kind of talk about his performance tonight and what he's done to help you get to where you are now?
More of the same with Looney. He's unbelievable. 20-plus rebounds again, killing it on the offensive glass. Just giving us extra possessions and, that physicality in the paint. So just more of the same. I love, the way that he's playing and the way that he's impacting the game. And obviously he understands he has a tough matchup with AD, and AD's going to get his points. He's unbelievable offensive talent, but just making it tough on him. And we got to help him, try to secure some more of those rebounds and give him some support down there. But he's doing an amazing job. So I'm not up here to give Loon any more advice. He's doing it perfect.